then, always a long friend. Gotta text my nigga through his life away, I'm in a dark place. You supposed to be right here with me, you chose the wrong side. Wasn't always friends, we locked in after no, I can't go like that, my lord, no, not this time. I am the rip, ask about I been the rip. Niggas ain't never been on my lip, they must got the wrong impression. All my fears, and salute my lord, I took my check. Go through all this, just to drop my sword, that shit out the question. Kyle can't call 144, we got the wrong yo. Keep talking, I'm deep stroking revenge, she a grown one. I get 2 Glocks, fully loaded, nigga, I call him dumb and dumb. What's wrong with him? He should've known better, he must be on something. Hey, it's Mr. Bring me back that cup, niggas know they in trouble. Look around, little nigga, you see my brother, we think it was a mom. Red letters got me waiting on the thief, Lord, we ain't no priest, I want the world to burn, just like Arthur Flint. I'm trying to start this fire, but I'll be patient, Lord, I'll be still. My enemy took a turn for the worst, that shit gave me chill. Certified property, A1 West, they don't fit the bill. On the call, cause next season where it's soldiers circle on the field. I said we gon' teach him all to run, we gon' teach him all to kill him. If you can't go to him alone, then you ain't in this shit for real. They ask me, Cap, you get them orders, what you do? How you keep your cool? How you find the truth? I said some niggas told me some real shit. When your hunter said, God ain't 50-50, he revealed. Then Muhammad said, you had these little things, you get the kill shit. I was lost, I thank the Lord, he put that zeal on me later. Don't say that, hold up, fuck that. I thank the Lord, he put that zeal on me later. So I got niggas up on Willow Road that still owe me a favor. It was a nigga up on Barron Rose putting me on case. Shit, I know a nigga up on Stain Road that shoot nice like little baby. Could've went crazy, you think you the one with trauma, huh? Nigga, please, I was with them boys in the hood, just like Jordan did. Some shit I ain't gon' never tell. Ones that know it's God in me. Why I get that mercy, Lord? Don't know why you guarded me. God, I know you love me. You saved my life that night on New Year's Eve. I was out there riding with them demons like a thief. Lord, I'm still trying to change. Please don't bring that darkness yet. It ain't hard to vibe with me, but I am the wrong one to tell. I let some brothers down to this day. It's my biggest regret. But I know this oath I took, forgiveness is a bigger flex. The only reason I made the call, only reason I confess, so I can ride and watch the world burn, just like Arthur Flint. I am the rip. Hold on. Turn me up a little bit. Gonna make them feel it. Make them 44 the rebel, nigga. Look. The key to survival is formality. And I ain't worried about my rivals, they just casualties. I bring his heart on the platter like Applebee's. Let him lose control, I bet his soul lose gravity. A beast, blood in my teeth, I got them all beat. Circulate that paper with my niggas like Black Wall Street. You know revenge, my love. Yeah. 2 twin Glocks and see your ass in sandstone like the Isley brothers. Better take deep cover. I make them clap back and forth like 2 wives that despise each other. Shit, get into that bag, got the refrigerator full of color. Hey, this that gun smoking gold butter. Handle these little things till my Lord get a look to kill. I need a bad bitch that look resilient. If real recognize real, I should look familiar. Fire in my back in the lobby, I burn down the building. Back on that ass, in case these niggas need proof. They on my sons, I took them all to preschool. He and his feelings better be cool, cause I chew that beef up, show my tongue, now it's seafood. I brought that all to your burial, I'm the pallbearer. This my shit, I sit in the throne like a lawn chair. All fair, warfare, shit, Diamondback AR. Work that bitch like a guitar player. Turn down, fucking with home, fucking with home. Told me motherfuckers, they tell them niggas turn down. Told them boys, don't know you playing with them. West Coast leader shit, you better tell them niggas turn down. Ain't it beautiful for that fire as usual? Hey look, hey tell them niggas turn down. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead. If it ain't that serious, why you hysterical? I survived when niggas died, it's a miracle. Took a loss, but payback's a bitch, she the love of my life. I make her sing like These niggas weak on the frail side. I leave them wetter than a whale ride. UPK Hellboy, bring the hellfire. If I can't get a piece of heaven, I'm on hell's side. And in the end, I'll be undefeated, Lord, I promise. Shit, I bleed for the creed like a Adonis. Cowards don't get acknowledged. You break the oath, boy, you know the price. We ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life. I give what he wants. Better chill, chump. Run this shit like Forrest Gump. Cause you think I'm playing. Glock with me, that's my Jenny. No leg, yeah. 17 round roll on you like Lieutenant Dan. Turn down. Told me, motherfucker. Hey, tell them niggas turn down. Think I got glory coming. You think I did all this shit for night? You better tell them niggas turn down. Coward ass motherfucker. Hey, tell them niggas turn down. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead.
Me and my niggas prepared for the dog. You hear me? So we gon' get it on for the last days, nigga. You already know what it is. 140 for the rubber.
They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war and see who make it out. Earn your stripes, dog. You with us or not? We can get it on when it's on. It don't never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war and see who make it out. It's a problem, tell them pop off. I die for I let my colors fly, boy. For a nigga take me, they a drop dead. AR, clean them up like a mop head. Say he cool, he bad, he really so tough. They like, damn, look what he did to Billy go rough. Little bitch, think she Kiki Palmer, silly hoe. She know I'm that bull, but I ain't from Philly though. From the city where they say about that ribbon like Perry Pooch. Know them niggas plotting, gotta deal with me. Can't catch me slipping, got to steal with me. Just left Alabama, bought a chopper from some hillbill move. He made my feel the blade. Leave them all bruised, come through like a plague. Rebel off the leash like a dog out the cage. Call me Johnny Blaze, I'm Run West May. Watch your step get stretched like a limousine. So my brother bring that blade back wet, that's by any little nigga, this that cult need to talk. Niggas know I got blood in my cup, I just sip it like it's grenadine. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war and see who make it out. On your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it don't never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the build, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. Tell them niggas good night, here come the bitch. Look, told them niggas get right or get left. UPK bad man, I pin to your flesh. Hellboy, rip the soul out of dead man shit. Got the rate, the power, I been a showstopper. Yeah, they might hate, but I know they gon' watch. Zone on lock, and you know the flow prop. Iced out, got the drip out of David Jones lock. Know I got the plan, they say that you the man. No shit, Sherlock, I'm the one you heard about. Burn down the building, let them all watch. Throw that one west up, then I swerve out. Sick with this shit, I do not need a detox. He don't watch a step, blow him out them Reeboks. We taking over, I'm sending the word out. Can't see me, little nigga, I put you in a bird box. Look, it's One West practical, gladiator, maximal. Creep on them slow, but that Glock fire rapid. All I want is more power, more straps to blow. Ain't got excuse for no cow, he gon' have to go. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. On your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it don't never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out.
Turn to hell, I
gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round, he'll spin shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the stand and tell. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the most high. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pot. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I gotta stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and got God on their side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east and pray aloud. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side?
Yes, I
Seen
did.
a man reach out to God before he died?
Yes, I did.
I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, it's one man in your bed, I won't stand for left. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile left. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember Jono tried to stick me for that cheese on that bread, yeah. I was thuggin' with Lucky and that nigga left me for dead. Endure to the end, cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets, but the truth made me a man. Shit, I don't really speak cause she'll never understand. That's why I ain't even tell her about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I see heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride.
Shalom, Israel. Can I get a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me? Make sure my mic loud enough, unless I need to change mics. Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah, Most High in Christ. To all the brothers, Shalom Yahweh Shemalah Bashem Yahweh Shai. To all the sisters, right? And today, be tuning in. Well, my topic is, how do we lose our identity? How did Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians lose their identity in today's time? Like, why do we call ourselves niggas, spicks, wetbacks, those different type of bywords, not knowing that, we actually have an identity. We actually have a culture, something that wasn't taught to us since we were, children. But as growing up, that's all we knew is, I'm Mexican. Oh, I'm Guatemalan. I'm Native Indian. I'm Cherokee. I'm Blackfoot. Those are the things that we were all brought up on. We're not actually like dove into the historical events and things that happened to us of how and why we are called those names. Those are the things that, we should have been taught as we were growing up, because if we did, then we probably look at each other a lot differently than what we do in today's time. Because now when, a brother in the world or a sister in the world, I'm not looking at you like, like you could be me, like you are part of me. I'm looking at you as like you're somebody else or something else, like an animal, like a beast, because that's how we look at each other in today's time. Our identity has been, lost, a forgotten culture, something that's, oblivious to us. And of course now, because it's like, if I go outside and ask the average person who they are, they're going to give me either their denomination according to their religion, or they're gonna say, their nationality is, African American, Afro American, or I'm indigenous, or some other, some other culture, or I'm African. But you can't, those things you can't say. Like African American is, from two oppressors, that come from two oppressors. Africa, uh, Salakia, Africanus, Scipio, Salakia, Scipio Africanus, where is which the term Africa comes from because he colonized Africa. And Amerigo Vespucci, he, he was the one that created the map for America, which is the continent that we live on today. And as I say, you can't be named after two different people. Which how can I name myself after something I don't know these people. I don't know where they come from. What I do know is that they oppressed the land and subdued them and made them, name their country after who they want to, name them after. But as I said, the topic today is how do we lose our, identity? As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, what we have to understand is that everybody's nationality is in this Bible. No matter if, the oppressor Caucasian, Asian, East European, all these, Russian, African, those nationalities, those actual biblical nationalities are listed here in this Bible, right? Right. I'll jump right back, I'll jump right into the topic of today, just to give the foundation of exactly who the Bible is talking to. Right. I'm gonna dive into the Old Testament, and also I can go into the New Testament to show you exactly who the Bible is talking to. But like I said, I dive right into the topic. We go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27 and verse 1. Right. The Bible says, and Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. Meaning on this day, Moses went to the people, right? He sat down, had a conversation with them, with the elders. The elders are the ones that, old enough to hold some wisdom. Not saying young people don't, but in this time, the elders were the ones that, they had to say so, right? So Moses went to them. He told them, tell the people to keep all the commandments, because Moses is just one man. So you need multiple people to spread the same message that you're trying to get out to the masses, right? Just as we do in today's time. As you see behind this banner behind me, the ISUBK, we have camps and schools. Well, we have schools, not camps, but schools all over America, across, Europe, the Netherlands, Alaska, even though Alaska is a part of America. But the point I'm getting to is that we have schools all across the world, right? So with that same message, we're teaching that same doctrine to get it out to the people, to the West Indians, to the people over there in Netherlands that are Black people, that are Israelites, right? That's the topic today. Of, if you didn't know, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are Israelites according to this Bible, right? And I can prove that. As I said, Moses went to the people and commanded them, saying that, keep all the commandments. That's what he told the elders to tell the people, right? Verse chapter 28. We're gonna jump a little bit. Chapter 28, right? Verse 1. It says that, and it came to pass. When something comes to pass, it's going to happen, right? If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to listen, listen closely, to observe, to mean to watch, man, right? To observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations, right? So if we listen to the Lord, we'll be above all nations. If we keep his commandments, not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, not celebrating Christmas, the 4th of July, Halloween, those things are against this Bible, even though it's taught in the Christian church as, to be something that's innocent. I believe when I was growing up, the Christian church was like, send the kids to church on Halloween. They would call it Hallelujah night is what they would call it. But in the same spirit, in that same sense, is like, you don't want me to celebrate, Halloween, but you bringing me into the church so that the church can give me candy, can have me dress up, in whatever clothing that I want to wear to be, in the spirit of Halloween. But you just change the name, just like they did with Christmas. Christmas, they say that, you know, it's about Christ's birth, but they can't prove that in the Bible because it's nowhere to be found. Like the Bible is against Christmas. The Bible is against Halloween, Thanksgiving. Those holidays they go against the Bible, right? Even the history behind it. We all know the origin of Thanksgiving, the slaughter of Native Indians, but we don't know the history, the origin of Halloween and Christmas. I mean, that's a topic for another day, but the point that I'm getting is that we've fallen. Right, exactly. Damn right, sis. That's funny. I thought I was the only one. Well, I can't even say I was the only one, but it was definitely something that was very intriguing as a kid, because I'm like, you want me to go to church on Halloween? But I was like, I'm a child. I really don't know any better. But growing up, I see like the actual truth of what's actually being taught. Right. I'll get back into the topic, but as the scripture was saying that we'll be above all nations, right? Salakia. Above all nations of the earth, meaning if we keep these commandments, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right, we'll be above all nations of this earth. As we all know, there's 18 nations in this earth, right? 18 of them. But this specific nation that's being talked about, Israelites, because this is who Moses is talking to. Moses is talking to Israelites, to the elders of Israel, right? And they gave it to, the young men, the fathers, the mothers. They told them to keep all the commandments, right? And with this information that was given to us, we will be above all nations if we kept them. We'll have a say-so here. Salakia. We'll have a say-so here in America, which seems oblivious to us because we've never witnessed what it feels like to be heard. Like Hispanics, and now, like, are they being heard, or are they being snatched from their homes? Right? Even though they were born here in America, even though they say, you have to wait 5 years, you have to be in this country and be born here on American soil to be a so-called American. But yet you're taking people from their homes. You're snatching mothers, children from schools. That doesn't sound like, I'm an American. That doesn't sound like I'm a part of this country. It sounds more of, I don't have a say-so. So whatever the ruler, the president, the king says, it really doesn't matter about how I feel. It's about what they say, right? Which is why I say that's how we lost our identity, because now we have fallen into America's trap, right? What is America's trap? Making you feel good. It's okay to sit in the dirt sometimes. It's okay to be uncomfortable, but not for too long. Here in America, we've always been uncomfortable. We've always sat in the dirt. When will we have a taste of what it feels like to be able to say something and it matters, right? If we kept these commandments, like as we teach today, as I'm teaching you today, to keep the commandments, keep all of them, not just some of them, not the ones that you want to keep because it's beneficial to you, but let's start keeping them all, because then it'd be beneficial for all of us. We'll all profit from a nation of people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, Blacks, Latinos, Slovakia, because, sometimes Hispanics could be named as, like Spaniards. They be, Hispanics, but that's besides the point. What I'm getting to is that here in America, we've been sold a dream. The dream of never waking up and not understanding that our identity, as I said, is in here. It's in this Bible. And, That's something that is another reason why we weren't able to read during slavery. Because in slavery, if a Negro knew how to read, he'd either have his tongue cut out, his eyes gouged out of his head, or he'd be hung or unalived in a very malicious way, right? Certain things I can't say, but I will say it because some people, sometimes we need to hear those things. We need to hear exactly what it's like to be, subdued as a people. But in America, we're not taught the actual history and those things that actually happened to us because of the leaders, because of the authority, the policing. Those things we're not taught, right? And I'll jump down to verse 15 in the same chapter, Deuteronomy 28, verse 15, right? But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, right? If you don't listen to what the Lord have to say, right? To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And for those, we may have some beginners that's listening. The Bible that I'm reading is the King James Version. That's the only authorized version because most books you see today, most Bibles that you see today are, transcribed. I believe I'm saying it right, meaning it was changed from, the original text from Hebrew, Latin, and Greek, right? And they use their own words to describe what the Bible is saying. But the KJV, the King James Version, is the only Bible that was translated, meaning when you translate something that's from, just like you have a translator in today's time. If I speak Spanish, I'll need a translator to say exactly what I'm saying, not what they want me to say, That's why we use the authorized version, the King James Version, right? Let's get back into it, right? These curses that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, right? And what is a curse, man? A curse is the invoking of a supernatural power, to sum it up, right? And some people like, oh, generational curses, not understanding that. I mean, in a sense, it's kind of biblical because we don't understand exactly why we're going through the situations that we're going through. Right? We lost our identity for our disobedience. Right? And that's probably something that's probably never been said, in the black, and Latino household, right? Until 1969, when it was said that blacks and Latinos are Israelites according to this Bible. And I say Latinos because being transported, just like the Haitians. The Haitians are considered Latinos because they changed their language. I mean, well, it depends. It's kind of weird. I'll get the definition of what exactly Latino means, or I can just look it up now. But I'm gonna hop back into this topic just to give some more foundation, the concrete evidence of exactly why I say blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are Israelites, right? Like I said, a curse is, invoking the supernatural power of, of someone that's, a higher being, right? He'd be like I said, generational curses, growing up in poverty, not having everything that they want. Those are the things that, blacks, Hispanics, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians have missed out on because of the oppression that we've lived here in America and have never witnessed. Right? Let's go to verse 16, right? Curse shall that be in the city. Curse shall thou be in the city. What exactly does that mean? Right? Here in America, we've witnessed what it feels like to be oppressed in the city. During slavery times, right? There's a thing called casual killing, casual unaliving. if it was beneficial to the oppressor, to the European to unalive you, then he was going to do it. Just like in today's time, right? Slave patrol, the police, if they feel like you are a danger to them, they're going to take your life. Right? You see brothers and sisters being hung still to this day. Recently, we had a tragedy happen in America. I say it's a tragedy because I mean, just like touching gold or robbing, you know, a facility that's built for protection. Facility, so like not protection, but to protect your money. Yeah, protection. In the same sense, to protect your money, like robbing a bank. You know, taking royalty, taking the the crown jewels. A tragedy because another black man was hung here in America, in New York City, and they ruled it as a suicide. Just like a black trucker, he was hung, and they ruled it as a suicide. When will we ever have justice here in America? Which is why it's very crucial for us to know our identity and also know who the devil is. Right? Devil means to deceive, right? And from deceiving you into believing this American dream that everybody can live here safely, why are we being unalived? Why are we failing, in our schools, in the school systems? Why is America failing us and we feel like we are failing ourselves? Why do we feel like that here in America when everybody is supposed to be free? When everybody is supposed to have, everything, everybody's equal here in America. But where's the equality? Where is it? You can say, oh, it's in the school system. Go to college, get an education. That's a wonderful thing to do. It's a great thing to do. But we had to get affirmative action in order to get, jobs, to make sure that we were getting hired. They didn't want to hire you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian woman, right? Woman, man and woman. It really didn't matter, right? Let's get back into the topic. Like I said, man, with this, we have to understand that these curses weren't, put on us because, the Lord just decided to do it, but because of our disobedience. Right? Let's jump down to verse 15. I mean, Salakia, verse 16. Well, let's finish it off. And curse shall that be in the field, man, in the work field, in the cotton field, in the tobacco fields. We were the ones that were suffering those consequences of understanding. Well, I couldn't even say we understood it because some of us knew exactly who we were, right, during slavery. And because of the disobedience of the others, we all suffered as a nation of people. Right? The Lord don't just, judge you because, he can. He can, the Lord decide if he want to, judge you because of what you did. Some of us receive the judgment. But most times we all receive a judgment as a nation of people. He punishes us as a nation, right? As it says here, curse shall that be in the city and curse shall that be in the field. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we've always experienced what it feels like to be oppressed and subdued, even down to the, like I said, in the work field. Like we still, curse to this day because, my brothers and my sisters can't, walk down the street without being looked at a certain type of way by their own people and by the oppressor. Those are the things that we suffer from here in America. We suffer from gang violence, drug overdoses, right? And I said we have an identity crisis because if we did know who we were, then maybe we would have a better chance of, coming together, learning that, I can't have an evil eye towards my brother or my sister because of what they got on or what they have. Those are the things that we lack in. We don't understand that we're royalty, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are royalty, right? But here in this Bible, it's saying that if we don't listen to the Lord, if we don't keep the commandments, then we'll be cursed, man. Like I said, I just gave you a relation to exactly what it looks like. We're the ones that's first fire, last hire, right? We're the ones that's being, kicked off the job site. As you've seen the black trucker, you know, I'm not sure if everyone's seen it, but the black trucker, he was, delivering a package. And he was approached by angry, oppressors. And they threatened his life, basically, telling him, don't get out of the truck. If you get out of the truck, something's going to happen to you. When has that ever happened to a so-called Caucasian? That's only happened to blacks, Latinos, and native indigenous people. It's only happened to us because the native Indians, they were kicked off their land. Right? How do you kick someone off of a land that you stole from them by force? Which is how they done it. That's how they did it. By force and mass slaughter. Now you can barely see a native Indian. Like, my understanding was that I'll never see a native Indian ever in my life until I understood that my grandfather and my mother's a native Indian, a Blackfoot Indian, which I would have never known that. But that's the only one that I know. But I digress. Right? Let's jump down to verse 32. Some more foundation. Right, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. What does that sound like? What does that sound like for another people, right? To have your children. What does that look like in today's time? Anybody in the comment section want to answer? I'll give you all a little time to, give an answer. What does that look like in today's time? Matter of fact, let's give a right slavery, foster care. Right, y'all. Right. Let's give a shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Salakia, y'all. Give me 1 second. Shout out to Sister Matana, Trooper Yazakar, Sister Deja, Young Man Shep, Sister T, right? Officer Yanazar, Trooper Quad Bar, Sister Patricia, Sister Red, Sister Moesha, Sister Sapayar. All right, Shalom Yahweh Shemi Yahweh Shah Barakatah to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemal Athah Shemi Yahweh Shah to all the sisters, right? Right, as the sister said, foster care. Right. When foster care come, CPS. As the sister said, CPS comes and knock on your door because your neighbor feels like you never home. You're not taking care of your children. Your children look malnourished. Sometimes, people have their problems. Some people are not fit to be parents. That is true. But sometimes people just want to call CPS on you to have your children taken from you. But during slavery times, as young man Shep said, we had our children taken from us and sold in slavery, right? I wish I could. I wish I had a few things prepared for today's class, but they would have slave posters. They would have Negro slaves for sale, right? I remember I was having this battle with an oppressor on Threads. It's like an offshoot of of Instagram, and he tried to tell me that, when were we ever sold? Did we have, slave auctions? I was just recently in Fayetteville, right? Downtown Fayetteville, they have a slave auction, like a like a post. It has columns, you know. Those are the things that remind me of exactly where we were and how those things transpired. They say that slavery isn't a real thing, but yet you have slave, Salakia. You still have your monuments, right? Your buildings, your plantations. Those are the things that you still have to this day to show forth like what is it? Like it's like I can't even find the word at the moment, but like a monument, like a statue. Put it like that. Statue. It's still your statue to this day because it's still here. Right? Trooper Yazakar, he said child abduction. Right. We're having our children taken to this day. Not here, but I'm in the state of North Carolina, but the state of Virginia, they had over 100, children taken from the state of North Carolina. I mean, Slovakia, the state of Virginia. That's another way that our children were taken from us, man. Right? Sister Matana, she said lack of proper health care. Right. Just what I said, is some of us lack the resources in order to take care of a child. Some of us are not prepared to have them because of the poverty that we brought up. We weren't taught properly on how to take care of ourselves. And then some of our women, our daughters, our mothers got pregnant because, of the lack of, discipline, because we didn't know any better. We wasn't raised any better of how to do it. So that lack of, that healthcare, we've witnessed it. I've witnessed it, right? Some of my friends, some brothers raised, that I know to this day, they were raised in, foster care because, their parents wanted to give them up because they didn't have the means in order to take care of that child, right? Some of them, right? I believe I seen this one movie where they it doesn't necessarily correlate, but it gives you the essence of exactly what I'm talking about. A sister, and it's a movie, but it's based on a true story. A sister, she gave up her son, right, to CPS because someone called, right, and she didn't have the means to take care of the child. So instead of her, fighting to keep the child, she took her anger out on him. She said, what, you call CPS on me, you can leave. I don't even want you here. Those are the things that, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians suffer, right? She kicked the little boy out. The CPS took the child. I got another topic for CPS also, but, CPS took the child, moved them into a so-called Caucasian's home, right? I forget the name of the movie, right? But the brother, he moved into the house is all strange, but not knowing there's other Negro children there. There's other black children there. But in reality, he moves into this LGBTQ household of oppressors, 2 women, and they basically treat the children like slaves. And they end up taking the lives of them. They end up taking the lives of them by driving off of a cliff. I'm saying this to say that here in America, Blacks and Latinos have never had the resources of what it means to take care of ourselves nor our children, which comes with the lack of identity. And the correlation is that if we knew who we were, if we knew who we were raising, then we would have a better outcome of exactly who our people were, right? Who we are according to this Bible. Because biblically, I mean, what makes us think that, we are something? Because in the Christian church, we're not taught anything, right? We taught, that God loves everybody, and that Christmas is Christ's birthday, which is all a bunch of dogma, right? But back to CPS, right, is now the ones that's kidnapping your children. They're the ones that's leaving your child in the car for over 3 hours to die. And that's a real story. I believe he was like 3 or 4 years old. And CPS came and picked him up from his mother because they felt like they were, neglecting him. And they turned around to be the ones that's neglecting him. They left the child in the car, right, in Alabama. Damn right, sis, right. They left the child in the car, and he it was from asphyxiation, from heat exhaustion, basically. He suffocated in that car and died from the heat. Those are the things that we suffer from, being oppressed, overcome, you know, overthrown here in America. What it feels like to be oppressed, it's like the everyday battles of a Black and Latino man. Right? Let's get back into it, right? And thy eyes shall look, meaning it says when thy eyes shall look. I mean, you know how your mother looks at you when you do something, that you shouldn't have done. Like when you're like, I know some of us has witnessed, cousins, maybe friends go to jail and their mother will give them a certain type of look, like I failed, like that one hurt, right? That sad look that woman gives or that father gives to that child, right? That's what that says when it says, Salakia, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. Meaning you'll be sad all day, man. You be screaming and hollering because you don't have the control of what's about to happen to your child. Right? When CPS come and knock on your door because they feel like you're not taking care of your child, you don't have no control. The sheriff officer is going to take you to jail because you don't want your child to be taken from you. Right? And there shall be no might in thy hand. Like I said, man, you have no power. You have no say-so in what they do with your child. Right? They can take your child from you, but it wouldn't matter to them because it's not theirs. They feel like you're not taking care of your child. They can come knock on your door with a sheriff or the police officer, come right in your home and take your child from you. Those are the things that we suffer from. And you think it's a joke? Think about ICE. ICE is coming to knock on the Latinos' door to take their children and their fathers and their mothers from them. That ICE is now allowed to go into schools to take the children. That's what it's like to have your children given unto another people. Because now your children no longer belongs to you. It's like a state property. Because they feel like America feels as though if you're not, here legally, I can, kick you off, when they weren't never here legally. They came and took everything by force. But because, they call us immigrants, aliens, I say us because they are my brothers. They are my sisters. We all are related. Biblically, Issachar, Ephraim, we in Judah, we come from the same mother, the same father and the same mother. As you know, Jacob had 4 wives, but Judah and Issachar come from the same mother, right? We're so caught up in the fantasy, the fairy tale of America that we no longer understand the situations that we suffer from, that we suffer from the same things, right? Let's go to verse 48, right? Verse 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. Meaning, like I said, here in verse 15, as I said, if you don't listen to what the Lord has to say, if you don't obey the law, statutes, and commandments, then the Lord is going to put a curse on you. It's not because you living in poverty. Poverty builds destruction. It builds monsters. It does. But here in America, we've been put in the ghettos. We've been put in poverty. But the Lord did say that he shall send an enemy against thee. You shall serve him. And what does that look like today? I'll go back during slavery times, right? In today's time, we still serve him, right? And you say, how do we still serve him to this day? Police force, right? His companies, right? Those are the things. Being a doctor, right? Some people don't know that, going into the health field, being a doctor, some of them have to make an oath to swear upon another god in order for them to get the job. That's an enemy according to this Bible. That's the Lord's enemy, your enemy. So be against it. If the job requires you to compromise your integrity, Salakia, then don't take it. Because then you'll become an oppressor. Just like the Caucasian man today, the European. You'll be just like him. You'll be the one that's, ruling over your people with an iron rod, that gun in your band, in your waistband, right? The laws that you try to pass, right? Those are the things that we have to understand, that it could never help us. Didn't help us then. So what makes us think it can help us now? Right? Let's read on some more. In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. When we're hungry, who do we go to? We go to his Walmarts. His what's Target? His Food Lines. Right? In nakedness, man. And in thirst, like I said, that's where we go. In nakedness, our clothes, man, our water, our drinks, whatever you decide to drink, whether it's liquor, water, juice, soda, any type of clothing that you want to wear, whether it be shoes, shirt, pair of pants, right? Those things we get from our enemies, even though we were the ones that picked the cotton. We were the ones that made the cotton gin. But yet I have to go to him because I don't own it. All right, let's read on. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. What is a yoke of iron? What is that? What does that look like today? That yoke of iron is that piece of metal that they put around your neck during slavery. That's what that is. That's what that yoke of iron is, right? I know we all seen Django. We all seen Django, right? If you did, if you didn't, I would recommend it. It's a pretty good movie. But in Django, in the beginning of the movie, right? Jamie Foxx is the one that plays in the movie. As you can see, they had yokes of iron upon their wrist, their feet, and on their neck. Just like they do in the prison system. Right? And until he have destroyed thee, meaning destroy What does destroy mean? What does destruction look like? All right, let's get the definition. Let's get the definition of destroy. All right, this is the Oxford Language Dictionary, meaning for destroy, ruin, emotionally or spiritually. Right? They have destroyed us. Right, non-existent, as young man Shub said. Meaning put an end to the existence of something or damaging or attacking it. That means to obliterate whatever you think is right, whatever your culture is, whatever you think spiritually, mentally. They have beaten you down to think that you are nothing. You belong to nothing. You belong to me. And the only thing that you're going to serve is me. Whatever I say goes. Whatever you say, it don't really matter. Cause I'm gonna throw it away. Just like you throw a piece of paper away. That's how they treat us. That's how America treats so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians like trash. Right? That's what destruction looks like. Destruction is when you have the same brother that looks like me call me a nigga. I can't say that, but I said it. Call me, a byword, even though we're the same. You're a Negro just like I'm a Negro. With self-hatred, it breeds monsters. Now we have gang violence. And we may not look at it like that. Oh, well, that does not, that doesn't really correlate. Well, let's get it. Let's see what, gang violence looks like. Right? Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. What does that look like? America, Russia, Spain, Europe. They all have the eagle. They all have came to America. They all went to the edges of, matter of fact, let's get it. They all went to the edges of Africa to get so-called African Americans, so-called black people, right? They all went to America to get the so-called Native Indians, right? Matter of fact, we're going into the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, right? Let's get it. I'll show you something, that your pastor would never show you ever. Right? I wish I had Babylon the Timbuktu. That's what I really want. Lucky, y'all, give me 1 second. Let's get it. I know I got it in here somewhere. I just gotta find it, y'all. Right. Let's show us our identity according to this, according to the Bible. All right. But before we get there, we all know that, well, we all don't know, right? Or we wouldn't have to teach these classes because, of our oppression, we were destroyed for our lack of obedience to the Lord. Those are the things that we suffer from is, curses and oppression here in America. But we'll wait off on the Zondervan. But let's, we're going to finish this. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, because then we were speaking Hebrew, right? A nation, the tongue that we didn't understand is English. We didn't speak English. We didn't speak this language that you hear me talking to you in today's time. We didn't speak Spanish. We spoke Hebrew. That's what we spoke, right? We didn't speak Portuguese, Slovakia. We didn't speak, those other language, Greek, Roman. We didn't speak those languages until we were, conquered by another nation. Right? Verse 49, Slovakia. Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. Right? What does that look like? George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, right? The little boy that was unalived. I have to get his name. The little 12-year-old boy that was unalive for playing with a toy gun. The police shot him because they felt threatened. They felt like he had a real gun. Well, let me tell you something, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. America will always be threatened by you because they understand who you are. Which is why the oppressor gets angry when you're having a regular conversation with him when there's confrontation. Right? As you can see, the brother that was pulled over in his car, they bust his window. And the brother was talking to them very civil. They bust his window. They dragged him out of his car and put him in handcuffs. Rodney King, he was beat into a pulp and they took him to jail. Trayvon Martin was shot in the back by a Ishmaelite, which is someone over there from the Middle East, which is the Middle East is a made-up term that America came up with because they don't want to say that it's the land of Israel in a small bubble. Right? Those are the things that we suffer from here in America because we feel like, well, everyone else feels like, they not nothing. They don't belong to anyone. They are my property. Right? Verse 50. A nation, well, Salakia. We're going to read it from the top again. A nation of fierce continents, meaning they always angry, man. When has America has ever been happy about anything other than going to war? They want to unalive you. Tamir Rice. Damn right, sis. When will we ever receive justice here in America? For our disobedience, this is how we lost our identity, by destruction. Hosea 4:6 says that we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man. Our identity have been stolen from us, stripped from us. Just like you take off a shirt, just like your identity is taken from you and given to another people. Because of our lack of obedience. I know today's, class is the brotherhood class, but I just had to, expound on exactly the oppression that we go through to this day. Because, everybody says, slavery was such a long time ago. We got generational curses. We suffer from, the oppression of America. We do. But we also harm ourselves. We harmed ourselves by our disobedience to the Lord, which is something that we don't know about, something that's never been taught. Right? Let's get some more. Let's jump down to verse 54. Right? And as I said, Sister Patricia, she said, it's like you. She said that's going on right now. Our oppressors will call a man boy. Even the man is 80 years old. 80 years old. Damn right, sis. You are completely correct. They will call him boy because they don't feel as though, you don't hold no authority, man. You don't belong. You don't hold any substance other than, being a slave. The Bible also says, is Israel a homeborn slave? Look at the way that they treat us, man. When what other nation has been treated the way that we do? Right? Let's jump down to 54. As I said, man, gang violence is in the Bible. Right? That's something that's, kind of abstract from what we're being taught. They say God love everybody. The only thing that's in the Bible is love. Well, let me tell you something. Hate is also in the Bible. Justice is also inside of the Bible, not just love. They say God love everybody. Well, show me that God loves everybody. Why didn't God love everybody when he unalived the Egyptians? When he sent us into lands to, take over? Show me where he loved them. Show me where David and Goliath loved each other. Okay. Right. Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among thee, you know what tender means? To be gentle, kind to one another, right? And very delicate, meaning they know how to deal with a brother. If this brother, he kind of, I can't say certain things to him, or this brother may get offended. So I deal with him a certain type of way, right? His eye, or I mean, it really doesn't matter in that case, but it, pertaining to the brother, you know how to deal with a brother. That's all it's saying, right? His eye shall be ever towards his brother, man. What does that look like? You on this block, and I'm about to spin the block, and I'm gonna take your life because you standing on it. You on the wrong block. I'm beefing with them. I'm beefing with them Negroes over there, them Hispanics over there, man. So I'm about to spin the block, and I'm about to Swiss cheese everybody that's over there. That's what an evil eye looks like. An evil eye also looks like selling, drugs to one another. That's a warlock, man. Right? A witch for some sisters that do it. Like you may ask, like, nah, how is that? Well, let me tell you. Cocaine is not natural. It's not normal. Heroin is not natural. You have to make it. Right? Crack is not normal. You have to make it. You have to cook it. Like a potion. Just like they do with marijuana. They take it into a lab to enhance it, to do what they want to do to it. Just like they do with the crack, heroin, methamphetamine, well, like I said, methamphetamine. Those are all drugs that are created inside of a laboratory. Even if it's in someone's kitchen, that's their lab. That's where they make their potions. Right? Let's get some more. Right? And toward the wife of his bosom. Single mother households. Right? Toward the wife of his bosom. Right? Beating on his woman. Right? Let's read on. And towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Those are the things that we suffer from here in America. No other nation suffers from that. No. What other nation in a high percentage that has the father absent from the household? And that's another tactic that they use, Section 8. Right? Some children can't even go to pre-K because the father lives in the household. Section 8, if a man is found in the household, you're getting kicked off Section 8. Right? Child support. Right? They gave the woman the power to do a lot of things. Like I said, Section 8, man, they kicked the father out of the house because they want a place to live. So now the father's put on child support, and now child support is used to oppress that brother. Most men are put on child support. Some women are too. But the point that I'm making is that these are curses that were put on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians because of our disobedience, which is how we lost our identity. I'm gonna get to the major one in a few. Just give me, just bear with me. I'm getting there. Right? Let's read on. So, like it. Matter of fact, let's get the women. Let's get the women also because it seems like I'm just drilling on the brothers. Which our brothers, we need serious help. Our sisters need serious help also. We need to understand exactly who we are according to this Bible, our identity, right? Because they say, it's always talking about men. Where's the women? Verse 56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which shall not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, right? For delicateness and tenderness, meaning at one point our women were so delicate and so soft and so submissive to the man in our household, to the black man, the Latino and Native Indigenous person, man in the household, that man, she was such a precious jewel of royalty. Man, she didn't even have to walk on the ground, man. You know what that looks like? She probably had like flowers thrown at her feet so that she didn't have to walk on the ground, on the dirt, on the concrete, on the bricks. Right? And now in today's time, our women is in that work field getting her feet dirty. And that could be all types of, indulging in anything. Right? Let's read on. The eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. Section 8, man, like I said, she'll kick the husband out of the house just so she can have a place to stay. She'll kick the father out of the house so her child can go to school. Right? Child support, like I said, man, child support is put on, blacks, Hispanic, blacks, Latinos, and Native people because of what the oppressor deems is right. Because he don't want the black man to be in the household because then we'd be too powerful for them. What the oppressor is scared of is young black men coming together and raising up families. Because then we'll have a power structure. We'll have someone in authority inside of the household. Right? One oppressor said, the most thing that he feared was the black family. A black household with a father in it. Those are the things that they're afraid of. So that crafty counsel that they had to take up against us in order so that we would forget is something that was very crucial for them. Because if they didn't do it, they wouldn't own anything. They wouldn't rule anything. They wouldn't be an authority to say anything. Because then we would have a say so. Our vote would matter. Right? Our problems would matter. Right? Let's get some more. Right? And toward her son, because you know what they say. You look just like your goddamn daddy. You look just like him. And what she do to her son? Oppress him in the household. Right? And toward the daughter. In the same way she treats the son, she treats the daughter. Because she don't know how to be a mother. Some fathers don't know how to be a father. Those are the things that we suffer from here in America. Right? Let's get verse 64. Right? And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, and from one end of the earth even unto the other. Right? What that look like? That's slavery. That's the Atlantic slave trade. I mean, Slovakia. That's the Slovakia. That's the, like I said, the Atlantic Atlantic slave trade. I'm probably transatlantic slave trade, Slovakia. And that's also the sub-Saharan slave trade. Most of us don't know about the sub-Saharan slave trade because it's never taught us. We didn't know that the sub-Saharan slave trade was, for the 10 tribes over there in Saudi Arabia and in Syria. Those places is where the 10 tribes were. No, Negroes was there too, but during the siege of 70 A.D., like I'll get that in a minute, but I'll wait to a specific part to to bring that out. Those are the things that we suffer from here in America. Also there in Spain, over there in Europe. If you didn't know, we were scattered abroad over all nations, right? And there you shall serve other gods, right? What does that look like? Serving other gods, your Christian church, the Muslim mosque. Those are where we serve other gods, man. Right? Those crystals that people bow down to and worship. Oh, if I got this crystal, this is good luck for me. I'm gonna get all the money. Well, tell me in the Bible where it says that. Tell me where it tells you to bow down to a rock and kiss the rock. Tell me where in the Bible it says, to kiss the cross whenever you feel like I need some luck. It's nowhere to be found in it. Right? Sister Patricia said that's why I get mad every time I have to walk somewhere, because at one time the feet wasn't supposed to touch the ground. Damn right, sis. Man, here in America, we have to understand that our oppression is not forever, but our oppression because of our disobedience. When we start listening to the Lord, and then we'll have a better chance, a better life experience, because now we expect the devil to be the devil, and we expect better of ourselves to make better for our people, our children. All right. Let's read on. Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Like I said, man, that wood and stone is that Christian church, that Muslim mosque, them crystals that you got on your dresser. Those are the things that we're not supposed to be worshiping, because it's idle. It doesn't talk. Can't do anything for me. Right? Let's read on. Let's get verse 68. This is the one I was waiting for the Zondervan, right? The Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It gives you the understanding of exactly, these biblical names, these biblical meanings of what's actually, happening, like the progenitor of Esau, right? Which is Jacob. Jacob made Esau, and Israel. Slakia. I definitely I misspoke. Isaac birthed Jacob and Esau. Salakia. Right? Let's jump down to 68. Right? And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. What is that? We all know that, the Israelites were in slavery in Egypt. We knew that the Egyptians ruled over them with an iron rod. Very rigorous work, very hard work is what the Egyptians did to the Israelites. Right? Give me 1 second, y'all. So like y'all for that. But let's get back to it. Right? Like as I was saying, we all know that we were slaves in Egypt. Right? With that understanding is that in slavery, we were beat. You know, we had our children taken from us. We were being sold, right? But during Egypt, we were all together, right? And we was populating, to a point to where the Egyptians was like these Israelites is, gaining, they got, they're starting to, be more powerful than us, basically. They're starting to, overthrow us, become more populated than us. They have more people than us, right? To a point to where they, sent soldiers down and oppressed us. They took us, by force, meaning they put more oppression on us, right? And also during that time, we knew that we were Israelites, right? Let's read on. With ships, right? We'd be sold. Also, that's what I was getting to. Egypt is synonymous for bondage. The Bible calls it the house of bondage, right? The Greek meaning Egyptos means bondage, right? With ships, meaning you'll be brought again into bondage with ships, like just like we were brought here in America with ships, just like we were brought to Egypt, Spain, not Egypt, but Europe, Spain, Germany. Oh, we were Scotland. We were brought everywhere, right? With ships. That's the only way we could get there, by boat, right? Let's read on. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, just exactly how the Lord said it, meaning that's exactly how it's going to happen. You'll be put on slave ships, cargo slave ships, just like the Lord said, right? And thou shalt see it no more again, meaning you'll never see your homeland again. You'll never see Egypt again, but our homeland is Israel. You'll never see, our homeland again. Salakia. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Who are we sold to? We were sold to the European. We were sold, to the African. That's what we were sold to. If you didn't know, Africans actually sold Negroes into slavery, which I'm about to get in a minute, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning no person shall redeem you out of this bondage, because now you decided to disobey the Lord, right? And that brings me, right, to Ham. As we all know, Noah. We all know about Noah in the Bible. Noah had 3 sons: Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? Ham was the youngest son, right? I believe Shem was the oldest, and Japheth was the second oldest, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but right? No, Salakia, y'all. Ham was the second son, second oldest. Salakia. Ham, person, right? Possibly, Salakia. Let me get to it. Second son of Noah and born of Shem and Japheth. You can find this in the book of Genesis, chapter 5, 32, 6 and 10, 6 and 13, 9 and 19, 9 and 18, Salakia, and verse 22, and also 10 and 1, right? Egypt foot Canaan, and he identifies the ancestor of the Egyptians and of the peoples who are under control of the Egyptians in Northeast Africa. Right. So that actually proves my point. Right? Ham was the Egyptians. Ham is the one that put you in captivity in Egypt. Let that simmer in your soul just for a second. I wish I had the Zondervan, which I would have to find it, but the Zondervan says that Ham is the progenitor of all the dog races except for the Negro. So that includes your Egyptians, your Canaanites, your uh like it, y'all. Uh what else? Foot. Those are your African nations. But the Negro comes from Shem. Says that the Babylon Timbuktu also says that the slave trades in Africa were full of black Jewish slaves. Jewish means to pertain to be like unto, but we weren't Jewish, we were Jews. We are Jews. So like yeah. But that goes to show you for our disobedience, the Lord sent us into captivity. Right? But I could also get some more precepts according to this Salakia. I'll read it off my phone. It's a little faster. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, the water. Matter of fact, you can, if you don't mind, you can read it.
Salaki, can you hear me?
Yeah, you two up.
Most High in Christ.
My brother got it in the classroom.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah.
Right, the youngest son of Noah. Read on.
Born probably about 96 years before the flood. And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Right.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes.
But the Egyptians, Ethiopians,
right.
Libyans, and Canaanites.
Right. So he's the progenitor of all the African nations, but not the Israelites, not the Shemites, and not the Negroes. Right? As the oppressor says, they be like, he's anti-Semitic. How can I be anti-Semitic when I'm a Shemitic person? I come from the same progenitor as you, Shem. I can't be anti-Semitic. Kanye can't be he cannot be anti-Semitic. It's impossible. Right? Let's get some more. Right, in the book of Baruch, it says, chapter 4 and verse 6, it says, you were sold into the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved God to wrath. You were delivered unto your enemies, man. Like I said, for our disobedience, we were sold into the nations. For our disobedience, we had, our enemies take control of us and take the things that, was supposed to belong to us. As the Bible said, we were supposed to be above all nations if we kept the commandments. But us being, hard-headed, stiff-necked, want to do what we want to do, we decided to go against that. Those are the things that, we have experienced in life to a point to where, it doesn't feel like we have a substance. We don't have anything here in America because of our oppression. Right? Where I want to go. But let's go to matter of fact, Slucky, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let's see where I want to go. Let's go, Matthew. Nah, we're not gonna go there. Like yeah, that's where we're gonna go. No, you two are trying to stay on topic. Can you give me the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and 10? 7 and 9, Salakia. Hold on, give me 1 second though. But as I was saying, man, with this Bible, we have to understand that our history is in it. This is our Constitution, right? This is the reason. This is not the reason, but we were the reason why we went into captivity. This gives us the foundation of exactly why and where Salakia and where we went wrong into as a nation of people, right? It's been hard for us to understand that we have a culture, we have Salakia, we have what is the word that I'm looking for? Authority. We have a power, right, in this Bible, and that's the Most High God. Salakia, y'all. Give me 1 second. This is Sister Sapiyar. Is our fall destruction mentioned in Lamentations chapter 4, verse 1 through 3? All right, let's get that. Let me get there. Yeah. 4 and 1 through 3.
Kawakan. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 1. How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? It's Salakia. Do you want me to wait?
Yeah, let me get that.
Kawakan.
Yeah, you can read it. Go ahead.
Kawakan. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out into the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers? The work of man's hands of the potter. Excuse me, the work of the hands of the potter.
Salakia says, I'm gonna have to get back to you on this, but I believe, as the precept said, I believe this is talking about Israel and how it's dimmed according to our disobedience, or because of us going to other nations and how Salakia. Yeah, I'll have to get the answer for you, sis. Salakia. But I know for verse 3, you read verse 3 for me?
Kawakan. Even the sea monsters draw out the breasts.
Right. This is talking about the matter of fact, go ahead. Read the next one.
They give suck to their young ones.
Right. This is talking about how even the sea monsters know how to take care of their children. Right? And how here in America, to relate it in today's time, because most Israelites are here in America, that even the sea beasts give nourishment to their children, and how they know how to raise their child, right? We don't.
Kawakan, the daughter of my people is become cruel.
Right, the daughter of my people has become cruel. The women of Israel have become cruel to their children. They've taught their children how to be whores, their daughters how to be whores, their sons how to be whoremongers. That's what they taught to us, right? We don't.
Like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Just like an ostrich lays her egg in the wilderness, she leaves that egg to be birthed by himself. Mother doesn't give I can't really say that, but I'm gonna say it. They really don't give a damn about the child. I mean, the ostrich can feed itself.
Kawakan.
The baby ostrich can dig his head into the ground and pick up a worm itself. He come out the egg walking. He don't need anything. Just like an ostrich leaves its child, just like the mother left that little child in the house to go on vacation, and she said she left food out for the child to eat. The child died in that house. That child died because the lack of discipline that we have for ourselves and for the children that we birth. But as I said, sis, I'll get verse 1 and verse 2 for you next week. Right? Is that any more questions in the chat? Just drop your questions in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. All right. Let's see. I on the bar, sis. But yeah, let's get Daniel chapter 7 verse 9, right?
Kawakan, this is
Because like I said, Salakia. Just as I was saying, right? According to this Bible, we have an authority, but I mean, we don't look at. Matter of fact, I have a precept. Got a precept. Can I get the book of no, just matter of fact, we're gonna read this first. Right? This is the description of the Most High, right? But in the churches, we see that the Most High is painted as an oppressor. We don't understand that the Most High God has a body, he also has a color. Right? Read that.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Meaning they can see in the sky, the thrones, the heavens in the sky, man. They can see into the heaven. All right, read on.
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
Meaning the Ancient of Days is the Most High. He sat down. Only a body can sit. All right, read on.
Whose garment was white as snow. And his hair of his head like the pure wool.
Right, and the head of his hair is with pure wool. Who has woolly hair? Negroes do.
That's right.
Negroes got woolly hair. Just like a sheep. If I look at a sheep, right, and I try to pick the sheep out, that's wool. You're not picking it. It's not happening. You're gonna break the comb. Right? I know when I was a kid, I done broke a few combs. It's like the wool, man. You have to have a body in order to have hair and to wear a garment.
Right.
It's impossible for you to be able to have hair and a body if you're a spirit. I mean, he is a spirit, but he has a body. Right? Let's go to chapter 10, verse 5. Right? This gives you the actual, substance, the concrete evidence that the Most High is, black. I don't know how else to explain it. He black. Most High black.
Right.
Christ is black.
Right.
The angels is black.
Right.
The Israelites are black.
That's right.
That's all I got for you. Right? Read that.
Kawakan, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
I lifted up mine eyes and looked and behold a certain man clothed in linen.
Right. This is Christ. I mean, this is Most High, right? Read on.
That's right. Whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz.
Right. Read on.
His body also was like the beryl.
Mm-hmm.
And his face.
He had on a green garment with gold armbands. Read on.
And his face as the appearance of lightning.
Right? Read on.
And his eyes as lamps of fire.
As lamps of fire, man. When we, some of us like to drink. Some of our eyes get red. But more than likely, the Most High's eyes are red because, he is the power of authority, man. Read on.
And his arms and his feet like the color of polished brass.
What does polished brass look like, man? Matter of fact, I think I got a pen. What does polished brass look like? Right. If I take this penny right here in my hand, God damn, it's like the same color as me.
That's
you
right.
See that? You see this penny? Polished brass. If I take this penny and I polish it up, throw some polish on it, it be shiny, man. It be very bright. Rito?
Kawakan. And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
Right, man. He spoke with a very loud voice, man. And he was a black man. He black. He brown. That's all I got. The Most High is black.
That's right.
Man, if I could, can I get the book of First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48? You could. First Maccabees 3 and 48. Sluggy, sir. You want to take the class? Come. Sluggy, sir. I did have a precept that I wanted to pull in the book of Maccabees.
This is the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, Salakia, chapter 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law.
Laid open the book of the law. We all know what the book of the law is. It's this Bible, right? The book of the law is this Bible because it has the Most High's laws in it. His law, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Wherein the heathen, right? These other nations sought to paint the likeness of their image in it. Meaning, when they saw the image of Christ, they seen the description of Christ and the Most High, they decided to paint a picture of themselves. Just like you have a picture of the oppressor today, right? Caesar Borgia. They paint the Most High as being a white man, a Salakia, an oppressor. Caesar Borgia is also an oppressor that decided to marry his sister, Lucretia. Right? These are the things that we need to understand to show forth that we have some type of knowledge of exactly who we are. Because if we don't, then we'll start to, fall back into the Christian church. The Christian church has never, ever done anything for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What can they do for you other than lead you down a rabbit hole of death? That's it. Right? What has the Muslim mosque done for you other than tell you to beat your women? Well, they probably don't even tell you that because they don't believe it. They also, sexually assault children, but they don't believe that either. But it's in a book. Read on. Matt, what was that the end of that?
Con.
Most High in Christ. As I said, man, this shows you that our description is in the Bible. But the oppressor has, oppressed you to a point to where, he's taken out the Apocrypha. Right? Because the Apocrypha tells you who the devil is. It tells you who the Greeks are, who the Romans are. That's what it tells you. It tells you that, they're the oppressor to this day. That's who they are. It tells you who Esau is. It says Esau is the end of the world, right? Meaning he'll be the one that is in the earth, not the earth, but the world, the society, right? And Jacob is the one that follow it, meaning after his world ends, then we'll be in rulership, man. That's what it feels like to understand who you are and know the actual history about this Bible and about yourself, because then it starts to make you feel good of exactly who you are. Right. As I said, again, I know this is the brotherhood class, but I just had to, help some brothers and sisters understand that for our disobedience, we were punished. Right. Because we moved the Most High to wrath. We didn't, decide to, because, I just feel like, we just going through this for nothing. This is our consequences for our disobedience. Those are the things that we had to suffer from because like I said, of our disobedience against the Most High. Right? Let's get back into Daniel. All right. Daniel chapter did you read verse 7 already?
No, we didn't get to 7.
Right,
We stopped
7.
at 6.
All right, let's get 7.
Kawakan, this is the verse of the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
and I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw not the vision,
Right.
but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves.
Right. Meaning they weren't prepared for what's about to be revealed to them, man. They were scared, man. They understood that the Most High was dealing with Daniel, and he showed Daniel a vision of his body, man. They weren't prepared to see the Lord's face, his description of who he was. It's a terrifying sight, man. They were scared. Right? Let's get Revelations chapter 1, verse 13.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 verse 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks,
in the midst of the seven candlesticks, which is the menorah,
one like the unto the Son of Man.
The Son of Man is Christ. Meaning it's given a description. Read on.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
Meaning he had on a priestly garment down to the foot, from his shoulders down to his feet. Right. Read on.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Meaning he had on a war belt about the waist, right, upon the midsection, because Christ carried a sword. Right. Read on.
Come on. His head, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
White like wool, man. Just like you see a sheep. Sheep is white, and it's like wool, which is the texture. White is the color. Wool is the texture. Right, read on.
As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Right. So, I mean, we all knew that Christ drank. We all knew that Christ liked to drink wine. So his eyes, as blacks, eyes. I mean, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, our eyes would turn red. Right, read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
His feet unto like fine brass. Right? Just like this penny, fine brass. Right, read on.
As if they burned in the furnace.
As if it burned in the furnace. If I throw this penny in a furnace, what color is it going to turn before it starts to melt? It's going to turn black. Right? When you put anything inside of a furnace, it's going to turn black. Right? Read on.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
Meaning he spoke with a very austere slakia, and loud voice, man. He meant exactly what he was going to say, right? And very masculine about it. Because now your preacher today, he very soft, effeminate, man. He don't know how to he don't know how to talk according to this Bible, man. Right? So this is the description of Christ, man. Like I said, in today's time, right? I mean, it's almost common knowledge that you go on your social media site, you see that they say Christ is he wasn't a pale man, he wasn't an oppressor, or they'll say he was Middle Eastern, right? There is no Middle Eastern, but I mean, according to their archaeology, there is the Middle East, which is dogma, trash. It's not called the Middle East.
Right.
That's what it is. It's Israel. That's what it is. But right, this is the description of Christ. Christ was a black man from the tribe of Judah. Right? Let's get Job 30 and 30.
Kawakan. This is the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
My skin is what?
My skin is black upon me.
It speaks for itself, man. Job is black too. Right? Read on.
Kawakan. And my bones are burned with heat.
And Job is going through the affliction, but it also describes what he's feeling and his skin color, man. Right? Let's get the Let's go to. You had some. Mm-hmm. What Lamentations for? Mm-hmm.
They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaving to their bones. That's kind of
I'm gonna have to get that breakdown. I ain't gonna lie to you. No, it's no sweat, brother. But let's get well, where was I going? Oh, Acts 13:1. It's a good book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Triple Quad Bar says Salagia ain't no Middle Eastern. Are you damn right? Damn right, it ain't no Middle Eastern. It's a made up term. I believe it was made up. It came around, I believe, like the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Read that.
Come on. This is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now, there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers.
Right. Meaning these are priests that went out to go and teach into the church. Right? Read on.
As Barnabas and Simeon.
Barnabas and Simeon. Read on.
That was called nigger.
That was called what?
Nigger.
Nigger. The Bible says they were called nigger, meaning what? Black.
Black.
Israelites are black, man. That's plain. That's simple. But let's get some more. Right? Let's get the Song of Solomon. Chapter 1, verse 5.
Kawakan, this is the book of Solomon. The Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. Salakia. I am black.
I am black. Read on.
But comely.
But comely. Black and beautiful, man. Solomon says he's black and beautiful. Read on.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem. All right, read on.
As the tents of Kedar.
As the tents of Kedar. Read on.
As the curtains of Solomon.
Meaning they had black sheep, man. They are, if you didn't know, they were black. They had, they curtains was black. He was a very dark-skinned man. Just like a black sheep. You know how you see a black sheep kind of stand out.
Right.
Right? Tents back then were made out of, sheepskin. Sheep's wool. That's what they use, man. All right? Let's get some more. Read on.
It says, look not upon me because I am black.
Uh-huh.
Because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyard. But my own vineyard have I not kept.
I had to get a breakdown on that one.
He said I am black.
Hey, you to walk. But let's get the book of Ezekiel, right? And they say these angels, they little black naked oppressive babies with wings, right? I tell you that's a lie according to this Bible, right? Read that when you got it. Yeah, Ezekiel 1 and 5.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures.
4 living creatures, right?
And this was their appearance. They had.
So it's about to describe these 4 different creatures and exactly what they look like. Read on.
Salakia. They had the likeness of a man.
The likeness of a man. So they look like a person. Right? Read on.
And every one had 4 faces.
They had 4 different faces. I know some of us, you're like, oh, how they got, a face right here, full face right here. No. They show you whatever face they want to show you. Meaning, one could have the face of a lion. Then you turn and look again. He may have the face of an eagle. You turn and look again. He may have the face of a person. You look again. He may have the face of a bear. Right? Read on.
Kawakan. And every one had 4 wings.
They had 4 wings. Read on.
And their feet were straight feet.
Uh-huh.
And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
Meaning very soft, man. Read on.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
Of what?
Burnished brass.
Burnished brass. What does that sound like? What does that sound like? Burnished brass. Black. Yeah. They were black. It was like, oh, I know you what's those the people will be like, oh, the blackity blacks. They be like, oh, you're not black. You brown. Of course, Negro, we brown. But what do most people call themselves? Black. Come on, let's not be I can't say that. I ain't gonna say that. Read on.
Kawakan.
Is that verse 7?
That was verse. This is gonna be verse 8.
Nah, that's good
Okay,
right there.
so like-
You good. Let's get Jeremiah 14:2. We're gonna end it right there.
Kawakan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. Salakia. Judah mourneth.
Judah mourneth, meaning blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are in mourning, man. Read on.
And the gates thereof languish.
And we have no protection to protect us. You know what a gate is for? Is to hold something that's inside of the gates, right? To keep them protected, and whatever and is outside of the gate to keep them out, right? Read on.
They are black.
They are what?
They are black.
They are black. Read on.
Unto the ground.
Unto the ground. Read on.
And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
So if I dig up this dirt, so all I gotta do is remove a patch of grass. I see brown dirt. I go deeper. I see a lighter shade of dirt, lighter shade of brown, sometimes a darker shade of brown. Right? Clay. Some of them, oh, I'm a red Indian. Some of them, some black people are red.
Kawakan.
Right? Read on.
Kawakan. Verse 3.
Oh, Salaki, is that it? And
yes, it is.
Read that last part again.
Kawakan. They are black unto the ground.
And
the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
Meaning, man, the way that we are being treated here in America, our oppression, the suffocating, destruction that we're going through here in America has gone up to the Lord, man. Meaning our cries, our prayers, our suffering. The Lord sees it, right? Those are the things that we suffer from here in America. Those are the things that we suffered back then in Jerusalem. Those are the things that we suffered in every continent, all over the world. Those are the things that we suffer from because we don't know who we are, from a lack of obedience unto the Lord. That's how we lost our identity, right? And with that, I'm preaching episode 50 Nadiyah, right? Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemalatah by Shem Yahweh Shai to all the sisters, right? Shalom Israel.